Peace and blessings. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing the Muse Tarot. This is a deck that I've had in my collection for a while, but have not worked with it in quite some time. This deck is created by Chrisanne Donnelly, and it is, I'll just read the back. It says, expect magic, exploration, and inspiration, infused with a wildly eclectic spirit, which it absolutely is. The Muse Tarot will illuminate your path towards inspiration and magic with its bright symbolism and powerful muse energy. The suits are recast as emotions, inspiration, voices, and materials to deliver messages from the source of creation. The detailed guidebook contains card meanings, poetry, and word prompts to offer insights into your readings while stoking the sparks of your creativity. Ignite the muse within. So that's the inside of the box. It says, there is magic in truth. There is truth in my veins, where my blood speaks in sooth and my mind has no reins. A little bit of poetry on the inside of the box. I will say I didn't, it took me a while to warm up to this deck. The artwork is kind of a collage style artwork that's not my favorite. But after seeing the deck a little more, I was like, okay, let's try this deck out. So this is the guidebook. It's very poetic, I will say that. It's very unique and poetic. So I don't think there are any spreads in here. I could be wrong. Let me see. Yep, no. So there's an introduction. It talks about what is the muse, which I thought was really beautiful. And it just talks about the muse's inspiration, and has the definition for inspire, to breathe in life or to animate life by breathing in spirit. And then Chrisanne goes into what the muse is. And then it just goes into the card meanings and definitions. She also shares how to use this deck and then gets into the card meanings. So there is a good amount of information on each of the major arcana, and same thing with the minors. Let me get there. There's a little blurb of poetry at the end of each. So yeah. I love how in the guidebook, Chrisanne talks about really getting creative with how you use the deck. And when I think about inspiration and creativity, it makes sense as to why this artwork is so unique. And so this is the Fool. And it's really beautiful because you can see the ladder coming up from the ethers and going onto this desert landscape. And then you have the sun. Is it rising? Is it setting? And the Fool is just happily skipping along towards this portal, in a sense. There's this feeling of lightweightness as her feet are not even touching the ground at all. It's almost like she's floating and being carried, the winds of spirit are actually guiding her, go this way, go this way. And as I'm talking, it's reminding me of those video games back in the day where you jump up a level, and if you get knocked down, then you've got to find a ladder and climb back up. So I don't know, it just feels like you can't really go wrong. Whatever you do, whichever path you take, you can always come back and start over. And so that's what I'm feeling here with the Fool. And it also makes me think of the waters and the void, the dark womb of creation, where, that place we go when we meditate into what some people call the liminal space. And it's you come up from that space with all of this inspiration, with all of these downloads and messages from spirit. And then you're able to go forward with confidence and really trusting that you know what you're doing. You're listening to your own spirit. In a sense, that's that energy of the Fool, just blindly trusting, relying on their own inner wisdom, and it's just nope, I've got this, I'm good, and just keeping it moving. So that is the Fool from the, I was going to say Sacred Creator, excuse me, from the Muse Tarot. I want to see if there's anything in the guidebook that sticks out. Uncertain beauty is the prompt here. And the poetry says, fearlessly jump into the sea of the cosmos. The spinning potentials are calling. Maybe a little foolish today, yet better done fool-like than stalling. I like that because it's saying, like, just try it. Just go. And if you mess up, okay. But at least you did something because you learned something in the process. So then we have here the Magician. The Magician slipped right out of my fingers. I love that she's playing with color. I don't think I would have noticed that before. This reminds me of like, I can't think of the term, but a person who, a seamstress maybe, or fashion designer who is like weaving things together, and or even an artist who, or she could be like making some sort of pottery, but she's creating with what she has. And I think that's really beautiful. I love the bright colors. I just love that it's like channeling down from the heavens how to incorporate these tools, these colors into her work. And this also makes me think about, when I think about color frequency, right? What we can't see with our visible eye. So these are like frequencies that are always in flow, moving around us, through us, within us. And like being able to tap into that, to either transmute it, to alchemize it, or to harness it for our own benefit. And I think that's really beautiful. And maybe that's what she's doing here. She's like pulling the colors together, the different frequencies, and getting what she needs from it so that then she can weave them together and create something else. Let's see, the Magician. A potent message of your creator magic, alchemical incantation. She's spinning her reality into form with magic from the ethers and determination in hand. She wields all the potential of the cosmos. And I don't know why when I was reading that, I was seeing chaos. Chaos is a word that has been coming up so much lately, just in conversations and different things like that. And I've learned to love what we consider chaos, because at the most basic level, everything is in a constant state of chaos. Energy is always moving, molecules are always colliding, and things are always, you know, changing and transforming. Like nothing is truly static. But we've gotten to a place where we feel so comfortable with thinking that, you know, things are solid or stable, that when something shifts and changes, it can just rock our very core. So I thought that was really interesting that I was seeing chaos, but that's what creation is ultimately. There is a little bit of chaos and a lot of magic, and it makes something new. So moving along, I love that the Muse energy of the Priestess, very beautiful. It's almost like a heart-shaped halo around her head with the symbols. And the veil is open. It feels like she is in direct communication, connected in with Mother Womb. There's healing in her hands. She is present, but also not, with half of her face hidden. It's like, I will show you only what I want you to see. Are these the runic symbols? I think they are. I think those are runic symbols. And this, of course, talks about her intuitive powers. Oh, I didn't even notice the water. How her cloak, like there's lace, but then it's watery. Like all is one in here. Like she is the water, the movement. And water is a conductor of electricity, like we were just talking about in the Magician, all of the different frequencies that are there to play with. So that was really, really nice. I wanted to see if there was anything, her throne. Here, hers is a throne made of ocean and sand. Oh, I see the sand back there now. I didn't even think about that when looking at the Fool. There was sand in that card as well. And sand is also a conductor of energy. And then when you think about like the grains of sand, that's really, it's very interesting. Okay. And also you can see the movement here in the sand and the same movement with the water. So then we have the Empress. I loved this card because it's like the universe is within me. Like I create worlds, like I am in a constant state of abundance and creativity, and it just feels so beautiful. I love the colors that they're so bright. Are those lemons? I can't tell. But it's just like super bright, and her heart space is lit up. Just a really beautiful representation of the Empress. And I like too, that the Empress isn't pregnant in this card. In a lot of cards, the Empress shows a pregnant woman, pregnant body sitting like on a throne or in a field or something like that. And sometimes it is just what it is that we want to create that is what we're birthing. So I do like that take on, showing all the different things that the Empress has. Like she is all that is. This feels more to me like the divine feminine, like the sacred mother, just very beautiful, beautiful, nurturing energy, very universal Gaia energy. Yeah, it's interesting. So I think I pulled the Emperor in one of my readings, and I like how this almost looks to me like music notes at the bottom, and she's standing tall above the mountains, and just she's big, larger than life, not afraid to take up space. And I don't know, it's almost like she's like orchestrating or conducting the symphony of life that is around her. And I just thought this was just beautiful depiction. This is why I like taking my time to really look at a deck and figure out like, what do the images mean? And it almost looks like her cloak or whatever she's wearing is a piece of the mountain. So it's like having on almost like armor, like tough, like her heart space is protected. You cannot hurt me. I know what I'm doing. I'm very confident. I'm very bold. Like I am the mountain and I am moving is what I get from this card. Some of these got bent. I don't know if it was like for me shuffling them before, or I don't know if Little Savvy was playing with them back when and they got a little damaged, but this is the Hierophant. Oh, wow, I didn't notice. There's a little person back here. There's another person here. And then you have this figure there. I don't know why I feel like I'm seeing like a figure on this boulder that they're sitting on. I don't know why this to me feels more like the Hermit. versus like the energy of like the Hierophant. And maybe it's again because it's a completely different depiction of the energy of the Hermit. The Hermit is typically about like our rules, our structure, systems and organizations, our beliefs. And maybe that's what this is. It's like getting away from everything that is remotely familiar and just figuring out, what is life to me? What does this mean to me? I like that she has her head covered, veiling, cloaking, covering your crown, protecting your crown is a practice that's done in many traditions, even some religious traditions as well as other spiritual traditions. So it's almost like, you know, her head and her ears are covered. Her eyes are off in the distance. So it's like, I'm not paying attention to what y'all have been telling me or showing me. I need to figure this out for myself. Like, I want to connect in with the divine myself and figure out what is right and true for me. Do these systems, do these structures, do these beliefs, do these teachings truly resonate for me? And she is unclothed while these two figures are clothed. So it's like getting to the truth of who you are, what you believe, and why. I don't know, I'm hearing Lauryn Hill, don't be a hard rock when you truly are a gem. Because I was looking at like the scenery. There's some water there. And then all of this rocky terrain here. So I want to look at the card and see what Chrisanne says. A spiritual teacher, finding the guru within, failing or outdated systems, crumbling institutions or beliefs. So that's pretty much what institutionalized kindness. I was talking with a friend about that, about how some people are like kind but not nice, or vice versa, nice but not kind. And we're talking about like the difference between being nice and being kind, and how a lot of times, like in the South, like a lot of times people will say bless your heart, and sometimes that is a term of like endearment, it's a empathetic thing, and other times it's an fu, and you never really know. So there's this Southern Belle archetype where it's like, oh, I'm just so nice and I just love the Lord, but meanwhile they're doing a whole lot of unkind and unloving and ungodly things. So that's very, very interesting. Wow. And it also talks about a spiritual journey, which is kind of where I was picking up on that hermit energy as well. And it could be too that this figure is going to see the spiritual guru, the spiritual teacher, and the same with this figure in the back, because they look like they're like, I don't know if it'll focus, that they've been, aren't my nails cute, guys? Like they've been on a journey to get to this place. It looks like they have a little backpack and things like that. So it's like, are they coming to receive spiritual knowledge, or did they leave to gain spiritual knowledge? Moving right along. So next up we have the Lovers, and this is so beautiful. I love the lotus flowers. I love the colors, and just, it reminds me of a kaleidoscope, the way the arms are coming together and the legs. But that's the Lovers, and they are walking together. You can see the angel wings up there. There's another lotus going down. So even like, it's like love is just pouring back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when I look at this and I think about the lotus, I love lotuses. I think that they're really beautiful. And I really started to identify with them once I like did some research on them like a long time ago. It was like how they start out at the bottom of a dark, murky pond, and they grow towards the light. And so I think that is a very beautiful depiction for the Lovers card, being that a lot of people, especially now, when we are coming to terms with love, even though, you know, we can talk about lovers actually being about choice and alignment, same thing. When you are reconciling with yourself in order to make choices for yourself, getting back into love with self, it's still that journey, that shadow work that you have to come up against and come up through and integrate so that you can bloom and blossom and be in the light. So I think that's beautiful. So yeah, and I can see this too, right? So you have a more masculine looking figure, a more feminine looking figure. So you could, you know, say that these are your yin and your yang energies coming together. Because sometimes the lover to me does represent also just alignment within yourself, right? Your mind, just alignment within yourself. Sometimes it's not always about partnership with another person. But yeah, so lovers. And then we have the Chariot. Now this is really interesting because it's like she is channeling energy and like transmuting it out into all these different things. And just look at all the horses. Oh my goodness. So I can't tell if like that's her solar plexus emitting that out, or if she's, I feel like it's coming into her and then she's able to disseminate that energy and keep things going, keep multiple things on track. So instead of having two horses, I like that there are multiple horses because have you seen life? And we just talked about chaos. Ooh, chaos. And how, you know, a lot of times we have multiple projects, multiple ideas, multiple hats, roles that we're wearing, things to do. And so being able to keep all of those things going as best you can. And you can see some of the horses are like going this way and that way, but it's like you're doing your best to walk with what it is that you have. And I really love that depiction of the Chariot. I wonder what the guidebook says. So same things, believing in yourself, confident, willpower, control, determination. She burned her plan into her mind's eye and into her heart. Uphill or downhill, she is determined to get there and nothing will stand in her way. Drawing down on the power of the cosmos into her solar plexus, all of her willpower pours out into the night and etches her path in the sand. 1,000 horses thunder onto the grounds below her, and she stretches her hands to connect into their galloping energy. The horses have different ideas about where they want to run. Some pull left and some pull right, but the Chariot Muse coaxes these wild beauties onto the right track. So, yeah. Oh, what is that song? It's playing in my head. Oh, who sings it? I'm Friends with the Monsters. Under My Bed started playing when I saw the beautiful Strength card. I really love this. Look at that full moon, or is that the sun? And the pyramid back there. This feels so peaceful. So peaceful compared to the energy of the Chariot. Like there's a stark difference in the feeling of these cards. But it's like once you're able to like master and corral all of this, handling one, it's much easier. And then you use those challenges, those shadows, those things that you had to overcome and had to face as stepping stones. They can carry you. It's not anything you have to be afraid of anymore. It's something that you can use as a strength now, right? You take, basically taking the cards you were dealt and winning with them. It's taking the things that you once feared, that you didn't like, that you didn't understand, that kept you stuck, and using it to your advantage. That is such a beautiful card. So there's the Strength card. I should have refilled my cup. And there we have the Hermit. Is that a Boab tree? Or is that a Joshua tree? But there's the Hermit card. I like the movement. And I was always like wondering, like, what are these footprints here? Are these her footprints? And it's like, what is she waiting there for? And I was hearing like enlightenment and seeing the sun like rise above her head and I don't know, like illuminate her crown. But it definitely feels like a quiet, peaceful place to get lost and to reflect and to go within. And it's almost like her gaze is looking up towards the sky, like she's communicating with spirit, talking to her ancestors, asking for guidance and support. I want to see if there's anything about the footprints. Oh, so this talks about seeing the light. So there is something about the light, like watching the light, seeing the light in her dreams, knowing that its brilliance comes bundled within sunlight and moonlight. So she journeys alone under the stars, ruminating on where it originates. So kind of just like being in awe of nature and beauty and the light that is in the world. But there wasn't anything about, so maybe those are her footprints in the sand. Kehlani has a beautiful song called Footprints that I think she did with, was it Music Soul Child? And it's just beautiful. Like, oh my God, that song is beautiful. I love that song so much. So when I think about that song, I think about this. And after, like, I had gone through something a few years ago and I went to the beach so that I could heal and process. And I played that song on repeat and it was just so healing to me to just be in a beautiful space that allowed me to, there's something about nature, right? Especially like the beach, the mountains, any just absolute nature space that is away from the hustle and bustle of life that just does a complete soul reset. And so, yeah, I thought that was beautiful, but that's what that reminds me of. So this makes me think about my own hermit journey where I was at the beach and I was listening to that song and just back in awe and wonder and in gratitude of all that life has to offer. So next we have the wheel. I love that they're the phases of the moon, so it shows those cycles. Again, sometimes we are in a full moon moment. Everything's great and illuminated. Other times we don't know what's going on. Things are, you know, not really fully illuminated. And so sometimes things are up, sometimes things are down, so on and so forth. So again, that's just like the cycle of life. And I don't know, like looking at the figure, the woman here, I don't know why I'm thinking about like different moods and how as we're moving through like different situations and scenarios, how we show up is coming up. Like where are we in our own cycle, in our own timing? So yeah, and it talks about learning to enjoy all the phases and the cycles of life. Cycling circumstance is the prompt here. Knowing that you're always going to rise and fall with the cycle. So might as well be in a state of like gratitude, or at least being open to seeing where the wheel takes you. I was hearing as the world turns. That was like a soap opera that used to come on back in the day. And so as the world turns, how can we still stay anchored and grounded and in touch with life, with knowing that everything is always going to work out. So here we have justice. That is very interesting. It's like she is coming out of her skin. It's almost like these, like being cracked open to the core. And then there's this almost like essence here. And at the bottom between, what are these? Not lilies, irises, but you can see the two paths, right? There's one that looks like daytime and the other that looks kind of like nighttime. Because I know justice also can talk about like karma, of course, like right and wrong, law, truth, cause and effect. So the prompt here, yeah, karmic alterations. And she's approaching the gateway of justice. Even though the destination is the same, the way she arrives has great bearings on her experience of the journey. That's interesting. In the middle, there is justice, law, karma, and in the end, we meet our own hearts with great clarity. So it's like you're going to the same place, but what path are you going to take to get there? Are you going to take the good path? Well, I won't say good path. Are you going to take the path of least resistance? Or are you going to go through the more challenging path? And I guess too, it's almost like neither is right or wrong, because you all go through the same place, but ultimately, are you going to be okay with what you encounter, with what you experience on said path? So it's like truth, integrity, fair compensation, the law, cause and effect, being responsible for your choices and actions, balance, equity, karma, ethics, consequences, retribution. So yeah, are you walking with integrity? Are you being honest and fair? Are you proud of your actions? Have you acted in alignment with your heart and your values? So it's like your shadow self, your not shadow self, your mind, body, soul, like all of that. Like it's like a reconciliation, like reconciling you with you. And like at the end of the day, when you strip off, right? Like if that's the, like the ego and, whatever else, and then your higher self, like, it's just like, it feels like a stripping away and getting to the core and like radical truth and acceptance. And then I love these bright colors, the Hanged Muse, that illumination, seeing things from a different perspective. And I like that there's, first of all, she's wearing glasses hanging upside down. That in itself is like magical, because glasses be falling off sometimes. And it's like she's just there, like there's nothing tied around her. It's absolute trust and just suspension, trusting in the process. She doesn't seem like she's fighting it. She's just there. And it feels like a complete surrender. I really love all of the colors. Flipping your perspective, insightful exposure. Sinking into the timelessness of the moment, letting go of it all. Being in flow with the universe, new vantage points leading to new knowledge, empathic understanding, spiritual lessons. Taking a bird's eye glimpse at life, reaching out over many years, pinpointing the things that you cannot change, let them go. So this is all about letting go. And here we have death and rebirth. This is so beautiful. I don't think there's much that needs to be said about the death card. Are those stick pins? I think they are. It looks like it. I could be wrong. There's so much happening in this card. And it looks like there's another, I don't know if that's her head or if that's another moth, but these little things look almost like stick pins, like you would use when putting a pattern on fabric so that you can cut it out, or like hemming something. So this is about rites of passage, which makes sense. Yeah, there isn't anything on the artwork, but it's just talking about, you know, releasing the old, death and rebirth, regeneration. And then we have temperance. It's like full moon, new moon. You can see the cycles of the moon there. Finding balance, hope, blessings, guidance. It's a Luna moth. Oh my goodness. I saw one of these in person a few years ago, and it was just the most magical thing. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful moths. So it's a good omen for sure. And they do tend to show up on around full moons. So then we have the devil. I like the butterflies here because it's like something needs to change, transformation. And it's like you can stay here or you can leave. What do you want to do? You have a choice in the matter. So I like that. And it's almost like with these, let me see. I would say with a good portion of these cards, like reversed, it's like a completely different card in a sense. Like, yes, it's the same art, but like, I don't know, there's the way that there's two stories in each card. Which one was I on? I was on the devil, yeah. Oh, wow. So, okay. I'm just noticing that this is her hair. And you can see these figures with the strings attached, but some of the strings even go beyond them. So it's like, who's really in control? Because sometimes is it like old stories? Is it, you know, ancestral, generational things that are controlling you that you don't even know of? So it's like your mind. Like that's her, it was like her mind. I almost didn't notice that. And like, these aren't even changed. There's these thin lines. And with like, even thinking about a spider's web, like those thin lines can be so strong, yet also easy to break. So that's just really, and then I see like with the butterfly, so thinking about how when an insect or like a butterfly or a moth, when they touch those, a spider's web, it's sticky to them. Like we can just like brush it off, but another, you know, creature, like for them, they get caught up in it. And then the more they struggle and struggle, the more tangled they get up in the web. So very interesting. Very interesting. And she doesn't even look like she's aware of what's happening. Like her heart is closed off. She's not really in control of her mind. Like stuff is just happening and she's just like, asleep at the wheel. Then we have the Tower. This is really interesting. So I'm wondering if this was like right side up with this person. It looks like they would have been standing on this rock, right? Before it got broken up. And whatever this is came through like, get out the way. And then even the background, it looks so piercing. Like when I'm looking at it in the card, it looks like all of these little blades coming in. But like whatever it was, it's just like out of here. The Muse of the Tower can be called upon to powerfully clear any situation and to carefully pick up the slivers of broken dreams and of mismatched ingredients. She finds herself drawn to moments of dysfunction and to large, stagnant blocks of energy. Like a cosmic puzzle maker, she removes outgrown situations in order to force fit the new and seeks the diamonds that are always hiding just beneath the surface of life's fractures. Creating beauty from chaos, she is the rebuilder of stories, dreams, and souls. So I love that this deck, I'm sorry, my eye is watering. Like the Muse is here to help you put things together the right way. Like this makes, especially these more challenging cards, right? Like more of a partnership, like here to help you. Like this wasn't even working. So we're just gonna move all of this out the way. Don't worry. We're gonna pick up the pieces, see what fits, put it together in a different kind of way. It's gonna be all right. And then we have the Star, who is using like, it looks like the ocean as a blanket and the desert mountain as like a pillow almost. And again, it's like bringing in those downloads of inspiration, like everything's okay. Things are coming back together. Don't give up. We just had to clear the path for you. It's going to be all right. And so looking back at this card, right? Remember I said that little person, like maybe they got flung to safety and then they wake up like, woo, okay, I can start over again. Like I see what went wrong. I see where I wasn't doing what I needed to do or whatever. I got the message. I can try again. And then we have the Moon. Like enough said, like I love this. This reminds me of the Moonology deck, the beautiful strawberry moon there. And just beautiful, 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 beautiful. And the Sun. I love the mandala there. It's absolutely beautiful. Connecting into source, charging up your energy center, blooming and blossoming and growing. I love it. And then we have Awakening. Look at the comet on her neck. Is that a comet? It is a comet. like, and then there's like the mountains and the clouds. So it's like you're realizing that you are part of the cosmos, that you are an energetic being, that you are a light source, that you are cosmic royalty, beautiful, powerful. I feel like this is one of my favorite cards. I like the rainbow pattern that's going on here too. It's like a giving and a receiving of light. And I'm hearing like dark matter, which is, yeah, so beautiful. Let me see real quick if there's anything about that sticks out. Awakening to your own divine nature, facing the music, ascension, accepting and forgiving your beautiful soul, intrinsic expansion. Rising above the clouds, we find clarity in ourselves and our past and our actions. This is the key to judgment, the reckoning of the heart and memory, dishing out radical self-compassion and forgiveness. Seeing yourself as a beautiful soul, bright, shiny light, awaken to your own magic. And then we have the world, the cosmos. This is very beautiful. This feels like you are thinking in a selfless way, like being an earth angel, that you are embodying your light, your soul's essence in this lifetime, and you understand what you're here to do, how you can be a beacon of light to serve others. I love like the wings, and it's just this connect, like knowing like we are all one, we are connected to Mother Earth, like everything is everything. All is one. The world, cosmos, completion, success, full circle joy, ending a cycle, ascension, vibrational attainment. She remembers the little girl she used to be, jumping off the cliff and into these unknown waters of divine magic. And now she lives here, totally at home in this ocean of creation. She rises out of her vast universe with the world in her hands, and everything is coming to completion. So this is like knowing that, like that you are able to create whatever you want. It's really like recognizing your innate abilities to manifest, to be magic, to create, to live abundantly ever after, and to be able to be the center of your own universe. Not in a way that's selfish per se, but just know like, okay, in my universe, in my world, I get to create the life that I want. I get to create the things that I desire, and giving yourself space to do that. So I did not think this was going to take this long. So I'm going to pause here and just share the major arcana. Look at the back. Isn't this beautiful? The major arcana from Chris Ann's Muse Tarot deck. And I will go through the minors soon. I'm sending you an abundance of love. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you have this deck, I would love to know your favorite way to work with it. What is your favorite card? What are some things that you may have noticed about the minor or the major arcana? And what is your experience working with the deck? So thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace.